What's up, guys? Happy Halloween. Maybe you caught us in the NBA video, but if you haven't, happy Halloween. We've got this, like there's not really any NFL game that I'm not excited to watch. Even this situation with some star wide receivers out and what's going on with the Jets type of situation. Like, I'm still excited to see how this game plays out. We've got 4 picks for you for this, and one of which I'm actually really excited about, but you'll have to let me know if you are or not, because it's not really on like the radar of the tools and stuff, but we'll get into all that. Let's talk about our partners real quick. If you have not signed up for Parlay Play yet, definitely check them out. They are our new favorite. They've just got killer lines and really good multipliers. And they've got like all sorts of fun, like extra games on here too that are free to play. Each week for football. I haven't checked out basketball yet for those free like tournaments they do, but the tournament was pretty dope for the weekly NFL stuff they do. So if you guys want to check out Parlay Play, use code BACKDOOR. You will get 100% deposit match up to $100 plus a $5 free play, which is like a full slip you can build out up to $5 just for free. So check that out. There's a link in the description, code BACKDOOR. And then shout out to Underdog, our other partner. We love that platform as well. We try to diversify. We're on like multiple platforms because sometimes you're just getting better deals on different platforms, and it's nice to have like a little bankroll on each of them, bounce around, especially when you're using the DFS optimizer. Sometimes you just see a deal and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to play this on Prize Picks. I'm going to hop over here to Parlay Play, or I'm going to hop over here to Underdog. So it's good to diversify. And speaking of which, I've been wanting to mention, like, it's Halloween. We want everyone to have a good time, but we also want to like check in regularly. This is fun. This is entertainment. Make sure it stays entertainment. If you think you are starting to have an issue, if you're, spending too much money on this kind of stuff, take a break, man. We don't want to be like nurturing a bad habit, so this should be entertainment, and we're not like those other guys out there who are like claiming to make like $60,000 a week or something, so I just, we care about the community. We appreciate you guys helping us grow our community. So we just want to be real about it and let you guys know, like, make sure you're having fun. We both, like Jordy and I both have had times where we go on a streak where we're like, dang, these plays didn't hit. And you have to, like, you don't want to be depositing every week. Like, I know that sounds counterintuitive to the type of channel that we are, like, in other channels like ours, but sometimes you got to like lower that amount you're putting on your slips and build it back up. Like, don't let it turn into a problem. So
yeah, don't make me throw you in Arkham Asylum. All right.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm sure someone
you
out
watch
there
Batman, bro.
A Batman reference. Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, guys, make sure you're having fun. Make sure you're being smart about it. But let's talk about today's plays. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you appreciate our show, hit us with a like, drop us a comment. I mentioned in the last video, see if you can guess our outfits, like our
Mine's
costumes.
Really tough. Good luck.
Yeah, you're never gonna get Jordy's. but let's talk about tonight's plays. I'm gonna be taking Tyler Conklin over 7 fantasy score. I'm getting this on all of the platforms. Actually, on Underdog, I think they didn't have the fantasy score. So what did I go with here? Yeah, I'm going with his receptions at 2.5. It's a little bit lower multiplier, but that's a really safe play. So I like that one. And then I'm going with Xavier Hutchinson, who doesn't seem to be on people's radars. At least I don't see a lot of people talking about him. And I think that he's going to be able to step up in the absence of Stephon Diggs and still no Nico Collins. So his lines are extremely low. On Parlay Play, we're getting his rushing and receiving combo I'm taking it for more than 19.5. Every other platform, I believe Underdog, I'm getting his receiving yards at 18.5. Let me just double check. Do they have his rushing and receiving on here? They do not. So yeah, I'm going to take that 18.5 receiving yards, and then on Prize Picks, it's going to be the receiving yards at 19.5, which is the play that I started with. The 19.5 receiving yards. If they had his fantasy score on here, if it happens to pop up, they got his reception set at 2. They have his receiving yards set at 19.5. They have really low expectations for this guy, and so if they pop out his fantasy score at like in the 3s or even like in the 4s, like I'm going to be taking that over if I see it, because I'll break this all down. But yeah, so Conklin fantasy score, and then Xavier Hutchinson over 19.5 receiving yards on Prize Picks. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, so I'm going to be taking John Mechie for over 15.5 receiving yards, and Davante Adams for over 13 fantasy score. With John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson, I feel like they're in the same boat. Like their expectations are being like put in a bottle. There's no one left, guys. Like these guys are going to get work, so these lines are ridiculously low. Over here on Underdog, it looks like they are moving his line. Let me refresh and see if they changed it, but I was taking Davante Adams at 4.5 receptions. They don't have John Mechie for anything other than a touchdown, so I'm just taking Joe Mixon's anytime touchdown on Underdog. And yeah, so for Davante Adams, I'm just going to go back to his fantasy score here if they have it. They don't have his fantasy score still, so I'm just going to take the receiving yards at 57.5. I like those as well. Oh, wait, no, there is the fantasy score. Never mind. We're taking the fantasy score over here. Parlay play, we're taking John Mechie for over 15.5 receiving yards over here, as well as that 13 fantasy score line for Davante Adams. I think he's going to have a bounce back game. He's been kind of put in a bottle lately, so I feel like he'll bounce out of that, but I'll get into all that later. But that's my 2 plays.
All right, well, let's break it down. I will start with Tyler Conklin here. I like him to get this done. He's been regularly targeted, a regular part of this offense. Let's take a look. He doesn't actually need a whole lot, but we have full PPR where we're taking the fantasy score. So he's been getting his last 6 games, he has gone 5 of 6 to have at least 3 receptions. So that's 3 points right there on receptions alone. I know this matchup is tough, but I think that it's going to be tough in general. And I think that Rodgers is just going to target him a few times. And then also he's got back-to-back games with touchdowns. So they've been targeting him in the red zone. Let's see, red zone target share, 15%. That's not bad. Those 2 games, he had 5 targets. He's averaging 1 target on a total of 5 targets in the red zone, but they're still looking his way. And so I like him to go over that 7 fantasy score. I think, especially with, I think he's good for 3 receptions, which puts us pretty much halfway there if you add the yards on top of that. I don't expect him to go nuts, but I just like this fantasy score. So if you're uncomfortable with it, you don't have to take it, but that's, single game slate, there's not like a whole lot, but the, DFS Optimizer does not like it, which it typically doesn't like fantasy scores, especially Prize Picks being like full point PPR. It's recognizing like, hey, it's higher over here. FanDuel has it at 6.1, BetMGM, Caesars, they're all in the low 6s as well. So if you don't like that, that's totally fine. I do like that we're getting the 2.5 receptions on Underdog still. Prize Picks has that bumped up to 3, so I think that it'll at least push. But yeah, I'm going to be going with just his whole fantasy score here. And then let's take a look here at, sorry, I had to rearrange my tabs. So Xavier Hutchinson, he wasn't getting a whole lot of work, but he is a big wide receiver. He's been getting over 60% of snaps. So he's not a guy who we're like hoping gets a snap share. Let me just pull this up. I had this pulled up. I actually got him on my dynasty team. I snagged him because I feel like he's going under people's radars. His sleeper fantasy score projection is 6.83. So sleeper is clearly expecting him to get a little bit more work than these other platforms. But yeah, week 4, 71% of snaps. Week 5, 71%. He's been averaging 50% or higher being on the field. So, he's been on the field, but they just haven't been getting him the ball much because because he's had Stephon Diggs out there, and there was Nico Collins for some of that. And so I think he can get over 18 and a half, 19 and a half receiving yards. So yeah, that last match against Indiana, Stephon Diggs ends up leaving the game, and then he ends up getting that 19 yards. So I think tonight, having a full game, I think he's going to probably get at least two catches, maybe 3 catches. Who knows? He could end up being like a reasonable target for CJ Stroud in this game. We don't really know what it's going to look like. I like Mechie. I like Hutchinson. I like them both for fantasy. So I just think that this line is too low. You guys might not agree with me. You don't have to take this. I know this is like more of a bold play because the actual optimizer does not like pretty much anything for him. But this is what's interesting to me. Yeah. So yeah, they don't like anything from him. So go with your gut. 19 and a half. They have this at I mean, it's not heavily juiced under, but they're saying to take the under at 50.87% odds to hit the under minus 121. And that's even with it bumped up a full yard on Prize Picks. These other apps at 18 and a half, like we're getting on Underdog, it's a minus 122 to go under or over. Let me just change this real quick to overs so I can understand this a little bit clearer. Yeah, it's a minus 122 to go over 18 and a half. So it's kind of slim pickings in this matchup. I don't really like a whole lot on either side. Joe Mixon, they've got it heavily juiced. His lines are super high. So yeah, and then I'm like, you know what? He's probably going to get an 80% snap share tonight. I like that on parlay play, that 19 and a half. We're getting the rushing and receiving yards because we just don't know what this offense is going to look like. I know it's going to be a lot of Joe Mixon, but as far as the receivers are involved, like we haven't seen these guys be like a focal point of what they're doing yet. So they might end up, throwing him like a little like what's that called? End around, Jordy? Sweep.
Like a jet sweep.
Jet sweep. Yeah. So I'm like, why wouldn't I just take that combo there at 19 and a half? So especially since on Prize Picks, I'm taking it over the receiving yards. So go with your gut. I understand if you don't like this play, just fade it. Yeah, that covers my plays. If you guys want to check out this app Outlier, there is a link in the description. You can try it out for free. Just go through that link. You don't need to put a code in or anything. They cover matchups, injury reports, and insights about the players. So yeah, try it out for free. See how you like it. All right, Jordy.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned it, but I did just see, hang on, it's still on you because my mouse just died, so I'm plugging that in really quick. But I did just see that Underdog is doing a 30% boost token today.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on me now, so I've got my mouse working here. Technical difficulties over here in Arkham.
On Halloween.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, to start me off, I got John Mechie for 15 and a half receiving yards. I feel good about him and Hutchinson both. I was looking at Hutchinson too. I think he looks really good. These guys are now slotting in for, Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins. So these are the new wide receivers for them right now, and obviously Tank Dell is still there. But Tank Dell is an undersized receiver as well. So these guys are stepping in as like kind of the bigger receivers in the roles. So they're going to be involved. I mean, this guy, slings the ball to everybody, CJ Stroud. So all these guys are going to get work. So John Mechie, all these lines are really low for Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson. I know it's a tough matchup, but I mean, Sauce Gardner can't be everywhere at once. And honestly, their other cornerbacks just don't really scare me that much. I think Gardner's going to be locking up Dell, and I think that's probably the best option they have. And I think these other two are going to eat. So I'm really liking John Mechie over this 15 and a half receiving yard line. This guy can get this done in one catch. In the last game, obviously he hasn't been involved at all until the last game. 0 receptions, except for the first week. He had 1 reception for 7 yards in that first week, but didn't get any field time until the last game. Then he had 4 targets for 3 receptions, and he went for 29 yards. So he looked pretty involved in the last game. And that was kind of a weird game. I mean, CJ Stroud is being thrown a curveball here. All his guys are getting hurt, so he's kind of trying to figure out what he's got around him. So I think tonight he's really going to spread the ball out, and we're going to see what this offense really looks like. And then obviously next week we do have Nico Collins back, but I think it's going to be fine. Honestly, like I really like this play a lot. You know, daily grind, I'm not sure why, but they're showing this line at 20. Okay, there we go. So now it's down to 15.5, and it's a 52.76% chance to go over and a -130. So they're really liking this too. I like it a lot too. I think John Mechie's a big body dude. You know, he looks like he's got pretty good hands. Everyone was hyped on John Mechie last year coming into the season, and he just never really got involved because Nico Collins took off and all these other guys started to really look great, and then they kind of found their core guys. But I think him and Hutchinson are going to do fine. So I really like this 15.5 receiving yard line over. That's probably my favorite play today. So, and then, yeah, Davante Adams over the 13 fantasy score. This looks pretty dark when you look at it on here. You know, in 2024, he's only gone over this one time. Obviously, he was not happy with the Raiders in that one game with the Raiders against Baltimore. He went for 26 fantasy score. But since he's gotten to New York, he's really not done much. And I think that'll change tonight. I think they're going to make it a point to get him involved. I think every week he looks more and more involved. Last week against the Patriots, they just all played horrible, to be honest. So I think they're going to have a bounce back game. They have to win this game. So I think you're really going to see the Jets come out and try to punch him in the mouth quick. So I think Davante Adams would be a big part of that. So that's just my consensus on this play. If you look at this on Daily Grind, it is juiced to go over for the fantasy score as well, so they feel some type of way about it too. But that's just like my consensus for this is I think that they have to win this game, so they're going to come out and ball. Whether that's Breece Hall running the ball 26 times or them throwing it 38 times, I don't know. We'll find out. But I do feel good about Davante Adams being a part of that game plan and helping get them there. So I like him over the 13 fantasy score line. So John Mechie over the 15.5 and Davante Adams is my favorite plays. Obviously on Underdog, they don't have John Mechie at all other than like his touchdown. I can check again. Okay, so they do have it. So let's just wipe out Joe Mixon and throw in that 15 rushing and receiving yard line because they have the combo for 15.5 over here. So liking that. That's gonna be my two plays. Obviously Davante Adams is at 11.5 fantasy score over here on Underdog because it's half PPR, not full. So still the same line. Really liking both of those. That's gonna be my two plays. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, this is just the cream of the crop when it comes to DFS apps. You know, I say it all the time, but it really is. They have the best indicators on here. They show you all of the odds makers and what they're feeling. They show you all their odds that they have set already. They show you everything on here. You can pick your leagues here. You can go to Dota 2, League of Legends, NBA, whatever it may be, and they have it all on here for you, and you can find the best lines for that. So whenever I'm looking for league plays, I'll just hit clear all, throw in League of Legends, and you can see all the top plays right here, and you can take a gander. So it's really a lot of fun. If you guys want to check this app out, there's a link in the description below. If you use code BACKDOOR at checkout, they'll give you a 25% off discount for your first purchase. So if you want to lock it in for a year, you'll get 25% off of that whole year, and it's a really good deal. Or if you just want to lock it in for like a month or 3 months, whatever you want to do, you can do that as well. So just use code BACKDOOR at checkout, and they'll give you that 25% off. And that's going to cover everything for me today.
All right. So if you guys want to come join our Discord community, there is a link in the description for Patreon. We work together as a community and just share our plays and talk about plays, work on second half slips. We do all that together. So all you have to do is sign up through Patreon, and then wrong tab. Once you sign up through Patreon, that manages our subscriptions. So you go to settings in Patreon, there's a connected app section in the menu bar, and then you just connect your Discord and you're good to go. We also have all of our socials in the description. If you guys want to follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, that's all at BackdoorFS. And then on X, we also have me, Jordy, and Moose, our other analyst, who is really active in our Discord. You can follow us too. We post plays on X. Moose is posting plays like just about every day, multiple plays for free on X if you want to go follow him. And then we post plays. You know, we're getting more active about it, but yeah, it's just fun. If you want to come say hi to us, go follow us on X. But guys, have a happy Halloween. Be safe, enjoy yourselves, and we'll catch you in the next video.
All right, see you guys.